Super Kings and the Rajasthan Royals have been suspended from the lucrative T20 tournament for 2 years. Officials of the two teams have both been found guilty of illegal betting and a match-fixing probe. Now, Gurinath Miyapan, a former team official of the Super Kings, and Raj Kudran, a former Royals co-owner, were banned for life for any involvement in cricket matches. A Supreme Court committee was formed in January to decide on the scope of punishment following a probe that found the clubs and both officials guilty of illegal betting and match fixing. The committee's order effectively leaves the two franchise owner companies with teams that cannot play. Super Kings, for which Dwayne Smith and Dwayne Bravo play for, have twice won the IPL and are perennial tournament favourites, while the Royals have won the inaugural tournament. The onus is now on the Board of Control for Cricket in India and the two franchise owners to work out the way forward and decide whether the teams will be in a 2-year limbo or play under different ownership. Well, Trinidad has welcomed the Hero Caribbean Premier League with rain. Today's game between the TNT Red Steel and the St. Lucia Zooks at Queen's Park Oval has been delayed due to a wet outfield. Now, several teams will be hoping that a change in venues will hopefully bring a change of fortunes as teams try to secure the playoff spots in the CPL. With the fixtures now moved to Trinidad and Guyana for the final legs of the preliminaries, CBC's Damien Best looks ahead to the final regular season matches.
We've come down to the business end of the Hero Caribbean Premier League tournament as teams battle to book a spot in the semi-finals. There are 8 preliminary games left, starting with the Trinidad and Tobago Red Steel versus the St. Lucia Zooks at Queen's Park Oval. The Red Steel, who are bottom of the table on 5 points with 2 wins and 2 losses, have 5 games in hand and can still make the top 4. But it's not going to be as easy as it sounds. The Zooks are a much stronger batting unit in the 2015 edition and have an equally potent bowling attack. A win for the Zooks will place them second in the table on 9 points behind the Barbados Tridents, who have 10. When the Zooks and the Red Steel met early in the tournament, rain had the final say, with the game ending in a no result. So I'm expecting the rematch to be a keen battle. After that clash, the Red Steel play the Tridents, St. Kitts Patriots and the Jamaica Talawas. The Talawas, who are third in the table, are coming off back-to-back defeats and will play the Ghana Amazon Warriors at Providence on Wednesday. A win for the Warriors, who have 4 games in hand, will move them to 8 points, the same as the Talawas and Patriots. The Warriors have seemingly started to peak at the right time, while the opposite can be said for the Talawas, who rely on opener Chris Gale to provide the spark in the batting department. If he doesn't fire, they look vulnerable, so the former champs will have to make some changes. It brings me to table leaders and defending champions Barbados Tridents, who have shown their fighting spirit as the tournament progresses. They sit on 10 points, and victory in at least one of their 2 remaining games will guarantee a spot in the semi-finals. That said, each team will play 10 matches, and judging from the points table, net run rate will likely come into play. That means the race for 2nd, 3rd and 4th place is still unpredictable. Damien Best, CBC Sports.
And that St. Lucia Zooks Red Steel game, when it starts this evening, it will be live on 94.7 FM and on CBC TV 8 after the news. Well, in what is a top-of-the-table clash in Group C of the Lime Under-15 cricket competition, Aline School ended the day on 101 for 9 in their 28 overs, meaning they have 2 overs to complete when play resumes tomorrow morning. They trail by 24 runs after sending host Alexandra into bat, and they made 134 for 9 in their first innings. At Queen Streak was CBC's Anne-Marie Burke.
Alexandra sent into bat by Ali, set to task to make a competitive total, and Nico Blackman led the early charge. That's the game's first 4. Blackman was not easing up at all and again dispatched this ball to the boundary. On the other end, Roland Husbands was also in on the boundary fest, over the bowler's head and 4 more to the score. As soon as the 50 was up, Husbands will fall, caught by Hans Campbell off the bowling of Ramon Simmons. Alexandra 50 for 1. 1 run later, wicket number 2 would go Badger Worrell, caught by Jaden Thompson for a duck, 51 for 2. That brought Savio Ferguson to the crease, and he began the assault through the keeper's leg to run its way to the boundary. Ferguson was wasting no time. Yup, that's another 4. Ferguson was making a mess of the bowling and racking up the runs in the process. And then poor fielding also aided with the boundaries. Both fielders let it slip through their fingers. Nico Blackman then lost his wicket ball for 36 at the hands of Jaden Holligan, 85 for 3. Without a run added, Sachin Clark was LBW. Holligan with his 3rd wicket. Clark also had a duck. Ferguson on the other end was still firing. He made getting 4s look so easy. Yes, that's Ferguson again. He had 7 4s in his total of 35. Before, in an attempt to make it 8, he instead went straight into the hands of Rayvon Welch. Alexandra now 101 for 5. Renako Belgrave sneaked in a boundary of his own and added just 7 to the total, and then was caught and bowled by D'Angelo Springer. That was the 6th wicket to fall. The 7th was Davian Levine, as Hans Campbell beautifully held on to the catch. Another spectacular catch was that by wicketkeeper Tyrese Ford. He held on with one hand for Cody Hines to walk back without a single run, 128 for 8. And the final ball before lunch equated to 3 runs. But see what happened. Going for the 4th, Shalani Yearwood was run out. Alexandra went to lunch, 134 for 9 in 30 overs. Anne-Marie Burke, CBC Sports.
Thanks, Anne-Marie. Meanwhile, at Cane Garden, the Lodge have first innings points over host Leicester Vaughan. Scores: Leicester Vaughan 89 for 9, Lodge 142 for 4. Christopher Best is not out on 51. Swimmer Alex Sobers is a reserve for tonight's B final of the men's 100-meter freestyle at the Pan American Games in Toronto. Earlier today in the prelims, Sobers was 7th in heat number 3 in a time of 52.92 seconds. Now that made him reserve number 2 for the B final, which was scheduled to start just a few moments ago. Barbados Lumber Company Lakers Sports Club kept their outside chance of making the playoffs alive when they defeated playoff hopefuls Pan American International Insurance Warren Sports Club by 4 points in the latest fixture of the BABA Cooperators General Premier League. CBC's Shane Jones has the action from the BCC gym.
Warrens in black taking on Lakers. George Farrell behind the back through traffic and lays it in. Lakers now, Big John Jones with the rebound and the slam. Sydney Bouncer Rowe, they let him have the shot, nails the long 2. Dario Cumberbatch from the wing drains it. But Lakers well in control of the first quarter. Jones again with the jam. Huge lead going into the second. And they started well. Keith Burkett quick, 2 of his 16. At the other end, Andre Lockhart catch and shoot and 1. But Lakers not letting up. Jones strong in the paint. How about Ian Alexander, the pull-up J? Then Jones from the tight angle for 2 more of his game-high 20 points. Lakers in full control at the half. Warrens needing to get back in it in the third, but Lakers moving the rock well. Sweet. Bounce pass to Bridgman, nicely done. But Warrens clawed their way back with the international player. Lockhart, bucket and 1. Cutting the lead to 9 with 1 quarter to go. Lakers came out fighting. Burkett from beyond the arc. Beautiful pass from Lockhart. Holder with the hesitation and the finish. Warrens giving it a go. Bridgman sliding it in off the window. But Lakers never going away. Rowe showing all of his experience in these big games. Yep, Lakers wanted it a bit more. They fought for it. Beautiful. And a little too late from Warrens. And at the final whistle, Lakers won 71-67.
Thank you, Shane. 9-time Olympic gold medalist Carl Lewis will be back in Barbados again to run another coaching workshop. Sports Minister Stephen Lashley made the announcement recently at the end of last week's 2-day workshop at the Wildy Gym.
I certainly want to acknowledge the importance of having Carl Lewis in Barbados. As you know, for such an inspiring and outstanding international sporting icon to not only do well on the international stage, but to recognize that after he has left the track, that there is an ongoing obligation to minister to the lives of younger persons who are trying to be where he has been. I think that's a very noble act. It is an act of selflessness, and I believe it honors all of the young people who are very much in tune with the quest for excellence.
And Lewis directed athletes to trust and listen to their coaches, and they will do well.
It takes time, and it takes focus, and it takes listening, and it takes trust, just like everyone else. You see, so there are people in your life that are going to ask you to be successful and do things, and they want to give you support to do that, but you have to trust it.
Lewis, one of the greatest athletes of all time, ended with this motivational statement.
Will I commit to being the best winner that anyone can be? Will I commit to knowing that tomorrow always has to be better than yesterday? And finally, will I commit to being relevant? And that means being someone that leaves something and leaves someone that people believe in. You see, all I did was want to run down the track and long jump as far as I possibly could. And when my parents always talked to me about being the best person you can be, that inspired me.
Carl Lewis. Well, that's it for sports. Lisa returns with